Game week 341. I've just spent the last few hours scrambling together these teams, and you've caught me in a bit of a mood because I actually didn't complete all my limited teams. I didn't submit any of the drafts. I didn't get my training teams completed, and we might find out together in this video as I go over the teams I did submit. Maybe there's a few mistakes, errors, maybe the wrong captain has been chosen in some of these teams. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Second Division Europe team right here, Zinedine Zidane's son in nets. Nothing to talk about with my keepers. I've got two Second Division Europe keepers, and they're both Zidane's. So my two Second Division Europe teams are both going to have Zidane in goal, so no real decisions there. Danny Calvo with a great fixture, something like 56% clean sheet or something crazy is projected. A little bit weak on the midfielder front on the Second Division Europe League, but hopefully we can win some midfielder rewards to come. Daubin's got a good fixture. Sometimes he gets rotated out of the team, but about 70% chance to play. Dompa and Skierbiski, very strong players, especially with Dompa's fixture at home to Bruschweiger. And yeah, Skierbiski is like a cheat code. I had 3 copies of this guy that I bought for like 20-30 quid back when Schalke weren't in the game, or they weren't scored in the game, I should say. Sold one of the copies recently, but we still have 2 to put into these Second Division Europe teams. Not gonna jump around too much. I want to do them in order. So Second Division Europe Pro. Now, for those who don't know, the Pro divisions you can use 2 super rares, up to 2 super rares, but we won't get into that. This video is more so just for the regs of So Rare. Seydou Sow for Saint Etienne, just broken into the team, looking like he's putting up some good AA scores. Well, he has the last 2 games since he's been getting regular minutes. Brahman Taratz just moved from Girona to the Villarreal B team this January transfer window. There's the other Skierbiski card, cheat code, captained in both Second Division Europe teams. And yeah, Gretor Furtz Hergota, Swedish super sub. Well, he's a Swedish sub. Super sub is putting it generously. These actually play against each other, which isn't ideal, but they're both forwards. Maybe, hopefully it's a high-scoring game, and they both get a decisive goal or an assist, something like that. But yeah, happy to fill the team with 2 super rares. And I guess we'll go into under 23 rare. Not much to talk about here because it's just my strongest team. It's my best under 23 keeper, my best under 23 defender. We just actually made a big swap deal. We had Upamecano, Bayern's French beast. We won him for the last weekend before the World Cup. We won a Upamecano from under 23 rare from finishing first. And we did just recently swap him for Schlotterbeck just 2 days ago, I think now. Which was I'm pretty happy with that deal that went down. I got another couple of players on top of Schlotterbeck. Schlotterbeck's got an extra year utility for under 23, so quite nice. And this is his debut in my lineups. Kokchu captain, just an absolute beast. He is away to 20, but maybe there's a bit of an error on the captain I chose for this team. But like I said, we underestimated our fucking workload for this game week, and we ended up running out of time. It was 5:30 local time. And I'm like, shit, I've got a lot of teams to do and I've only got 30 minutes. And that's when the scramble started. But yeah, Kavicha and Osimhen, the 2 Napoli beasts. Like, this is just the cream of the crop of my lineups. Well, Napoli are playing Roma. It's first against 5th in the Serie A. I could say it's a tricky fixture, but both Kavicha, Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen, they both show up for the big games, it seems, so... Anyway, it's hard to know who to captain in this lineup. Under 23 Pro is a bit of a throwaway team. A bit of a long shot. I made sure I didn't use anyone too valuable in my under 23 Pro team because it is a risky high variance one. Berke Özer is in Turkey now for Umareni Spor Kulübü. And he was brought in January and he's predicted to be the first team goalkeeper. There's a 55% chance he starts on player sharp. So this is why the team is quite a risky one. We recently brought in Alan Varela, America's midfielder. Who's obviously also under 23. He didn't quite make it into our America's team this week. So we snuck him into under 23 pro. This is a recently bought second division Europe / under 23 super rare card. Dion Beljo just recently moved to Augsburg. He's getting the minutes. He's just not getting the goals. It's only 2 games in though. I was kind of hoping he stayed in Croatia. I bought him when he was playing in Croatia, but it's fine. You know, I've got a punter's chance of getting a reward from this, and none of these cards. The important thing to note when you've got a throwaway team or a bit of a punty team is to just not waste any really valuable players in that punty lineup. You know, I think that's a big part of the sorare strategy. We'll jump into Challenger Europe because it's right here. Why not? We have a semi-defensive Heerenveen stack. Now we have Andreas Noppert, but if you don't know, now you know. Andreas Noppert is out injured, the 6'8" monster Dutch keeper that got called up for the World Cup. We would have put these guys into Challenger Europe Pro and used our super rare Noppert card, but we ended up fitting them in here nicely. Butes is away to Anderlecht. Not the best fixture, not the worst fixture. Heidermans is an underrated guy. He's always capable of a decisive in any matchup, in my opinion. I have been planning to bring in Rob Schoofs to kind of link with him, but for now he's standing alone. Geoffrey Heidermans for Mechelen. Away to Westerlo, not the best fixture. Like, this isn't the most amazing team. Umut Nair, rightly so, chosen as captain. He's got a pretty good fixture. I think it's 15th against 19th. So yeah, definitely a shot at a reward. Not the strongest team ever, but you know, yielding rewards is what I'm about. You know, I think people have too high expectations of getting podiums every week, and you know, just win rewards. You know, just yield rewards. Then it's nearly like a passive income once you've broken even. Challenger Europe Pro is what we're going to jump into next. Where I have my Union Saint Gallen defender. Sorry, Union Saint Galois. I'm terrible with these pronunciations. So yeah, Bart and Christian Burgess, 6'6" monster that plays at centre back. We have him linked. We have these two lads linked. Faiz Selemani with a great fixture, rightly so captained. Misic also with a great fixture. If these Union lads, who actually finished second in the Belgian league last year, if they can put some good scores together away to Charleroi, then this team is looking with a real shot. Only one super rare card, which isn't ideal, but yeah. Silesen at home to Sparta Rotterdam as well could definitely, even if he concedes, could get me some 45 to 50-ish scores with AA. Where were we? My America team right here, quite fucking solid. We have a little bit of a Newell's Old Boys stack going. Lucas Hoyos was playing for Velez, as you see in his card, but now playing for Newell's Old Boys. This move kind of encouraged me or inspired me to get Willard Ditta. I was using this guy's common card like quite often back in the early So Rare days, and I remember him putting up quite good scores. He's a Colombian, he's in his mid-20s. I think it made a lot of sense, and he was really well priced too. I think it made a lot of sense to stack these guys together. At the other end of the pitch for Newell's Old Boys, we have Ramiro Sordo, who is a young forward with a lot of potential, but definitely is hit and miss. And yeah, we just don't really have any other options. We do have Uriti, Peruvian striker, who used to be an absolute prolific animal, but he was out for like 8 to 10 months with an injury, and he's just back, so I wasn't sure if he's going to start. Glad to see that we chose the right captain again. This guy playing for Independiente Medellin. He's playing for Medellin, Colombia's capital. He's also from Colombia's capital. He's a recent signing that I brought in. He's 31 now. I feel like he's going to be playing with this club for the rest of his career. Unless he kind of downgrades towards his mid-30s. But yeah, Leonardo Morales, he just scores amazingly, like an L40 or 65 or something like that. Stuff can definitely happen with this America team. America's champion Europe recently brought in Thibaut Courtois. Somebody hit me up on Discord and they're like, yo Sven, I see you've got Martin Pace, who is a Dutch keeper who plays for FC Dallas in the MLS. And the MLS is coming up. And this dude was looking to bring in Pace, and he says, I'll swap you Courtois if you can give me a bit of eat. And we haggled back and forth for a day, but I ended up giving Pace plus 1.2 eat for Courtois. We have enough American keepers to keep us covered for our lineup, so I'm not too worried about letting Pace go. And it seemed like a decent opportunity to get a trade in. We had the eat in the balance. Brought in Courtois. Big things are going to happen. We need to get a bit more competitive in Champion. And this Frankowski card... Shit, bad timing. This Frankowski card right here, this is the type of caliber of card that we'd always be throwing in Champion Europe and just having no shot. Frankowski's hit some serious form since the World Cup, and this is a great fixture. That's why he snuck into this team. But otherwise, the Madrid boys, nothing to say there. They're at home to Sociedad. They're fucking great players. Joselu, away to Almeria. Very good chance of getting a goal. Danilo, great fixture. You kind of just need Frankowski to do the business. Again, great fixture. And yeah. Hopefully he can get the job done with some sort of a goal or an assist. But Frankowski can land us a 50 with a AA also, so he's not going to kill the team. So I like our choices there. Where are we going to go next? Specialist. Specialist is my favorite. They call me the specialist. Now, to be honest, I call myself the specialist. Bit cringe, but we do pretty well in specialist. We finished second in last week's rare specialist. Got ourselves a tier 1 super rare. We've had a few binks, put it that way. So what we have done here, 2 of these players, as you know, need to have a last 15 average of 40 and below. And those 2 players are Clinton Mata, who's just came back from injury and came back into the Club Bruges team. He's got a very high chance to play and get the full, not to get 90 minutes, but get the 70 minutes plus against a pretty good matchup, Zulte Waregem. So I could definitely see Clinton Mata scoring a 50, 60, 65 and beyond. And then we've got Insaki, Hoffenheim centre-back, linked with Baumann, bit of a defensive Hoffenheim stack there. At home to Borussia Mönchengladbach. It's not ideal. Bundesliga is a high-scoring league, but if Hoffenheim can get a clean sheet, all of a sudden this team came alive. Gnabri's a bit of a risk to start. Like it's not our strongest specialist team ever. We didn't prioritize specialists this week, put it that way. But yeah, Gnabri's in the side. Even if he can come off the bench, good chance he can make something happen at home to Frankfurt. Or he could just start, play the first half, play the first 60 minutes, and we're laughing. Gastien at home to Nantes. He's a bit of an AA monster. He's also hit and miss, but an average in his last 15 games of 57, I believe. And you can only have one player that's 60 or above, which is Gnabry. So I think it was a nice strategic option there to put in a 57 average, just pushing that last 15 average of 60. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe if you're new to So Rare, some of this might get confusing, but for those guys, before you know it, it's all going to make perfect sense. More than make sense, it's going to make perfect sense, and you're going to be like, wow, I really like the way they do things here. So that was Specialist. Now it's Underdog, I guess. Underdog is usually like my least prioritized team. I kind of put my leftovers in. This week we're actually going for it. We got George Harman, which is a recent reward in the Scottish League. He's got a nice fixture at home, and he's also got some nice peaks playing left back for Ross County. He's good on the AA. He gets forward. So he's definitely a player, like I say again, high peaks. And if you want to win rewards, if you want to get in that top 5% or whatever, you want a player who can hit high peaks. Mati Kamara at home to Angers. Angers are bottom of the French league right now. This guy's been hitting some nice AAs his last couple of games. And coupled with his good form and this fixture, I think he's a sexy little choice to put in here. nearly wanted to captain him because I feel like he's just going to hit a minimum 55 in this fixture and could definitely hit a 65-70 without a decisive. Kenneth Taylor, I was using Kenneth Taylor in specialist a lot recently because he was even below that sweet spot of 40 on his last 15 average. But now his average of last 15 games is 42. So he can fit into this underdog team where, if you don't know, all players need to be have an average of 50 or below in their last 15 games. But Kenneth Taylor, a really nice captain to throw in here. Ajax have about a 56% chance of getting 3 goals or more in this game. He's going to start. If he gets a decent AA with a decisive, if he gets multiple decisives, we could be looking at an 80-plus score there, which is why he gets that captaincy. Mikau Tadze, the Georgian maestro playing for Metz right now in the 2nd Division France. I like this guy a lot. And he just kind of got squeezed out of my 2nd Division Europe teams the last minute, but I realized he can fit very nicely into this underdog team. He's got an L5 of 61, last 5 average, and he's got an L15 of 47. So a nice little cheat code to slide in there. For the All-Stars, looking at my limited lineups hurts me because I didn't even get all my limited teams done. Like I said at the start of the video, we were scrambling for time. We made a bit of a blunder. From underdog rare to underdog super rare, I am a fan of this team as well. I think it's the weekend of underdog for me. Angel Correa, who I've been using a lot in specialist super rare, and I actually would have effing loved to put together a specialist super rare team. But I only have 2 active super rare goalkeepers. Lucas Zidane, who needed to go into our 2nd Division Europe pro team. And we also have Andreas Noppert, who's out injured this week. So sadly, we had no keeper for the specialist super rare, but we put together a decent... And by the way, we put together a decent underdog team anyway, but what I was going to say was Hincapi for Leverkusen and Correa both have an L15 of 40 and below. So these would have been perfect to put into specialist. But anyway, they're in underdog. Correa's captain. Atletico just seem to be on fire lately. They absolutely dismantled their opponents last week. And Correa hit the fucking post. Correa actually took a shot on target. Keeper saved it and it hit both posts. So I don't know how he didn't get a goal last week. Pedro Chiravea scored 100 last week. Put into a sick AA score. They won 3-0. Both Wallace and Pedro Chiravea are both on that brink of 50 in their last 15 average. So it's nice to get some... it's nice to get a high L15 as you can get in the underdog. But yeah, video's been long enough already. There is a throwaway all-star team here that if there's a tiny chance Noppert does play, this team will come alive. But other than that, these are just a bunch of leftovers. Dost also a risk to play. All-Star and All-Star Pro. All-Star is kind of a leftover team. We're just trying to hit that 250 point threshold. If you go to the prize pool here, hopefully it'll say something about it. Score-based rewards. For those that don't know, if you get more than 250 points, you get $50. 205 points or more, $25. Quite cool little feature. That's why it's one of the most focused and prioritized leagues. But yeah, we can still get away with putting our leftovers in, and this team still has a chance of reward. Chiravea in there with his L15 average of 50 and that 100 he came off last week. Jallo and Burgess. I don't like putting 2 defenders together if they're playing for different teams because you kind of got to count on a lot of clean sheets to happen. Yeah. Chimi Avila, Osasuna at home to Atletico Madrid. I'm pretty confident this team will at least hit the threshold of 250, even if it doesn't win a reward. All-Star Pro. Again, kind of like my leftovers. Kamil Patiukovsky has moved to Ghent recently, from Red Bull Salzburg. And he's a really, really great defender. Only 22 years old as well. He was in my Challenger lineup, then he was moved to an under-23 lineup, and then All-Star Pro. I didn't know where to put him. But yeah, this team is... I mean, Lazovic is a pretty weak choice. Hellas Verona away to Udinese. I do on aways Toulouse away to Strasbourg. Both these teams are bottom of their leagues, Toulouse and Hellas Verona's. That's why the team is a little weak, but you never know in this game. Punter's chance is all you need. Quickly go over the limited teams, although it does pain me. We put together a La Liga Santander Pro with the time we had left. The Espanyol boys, Darder and Joselu, lined up together. Sorare, Militao and Mojica. We had 2 points left over. We have a total of 270 points to spend. The price of each player, the points cost of each player is based on their L15. So we were quite coin efficient or point efficient with this team. We just had 2 left over. Mojica with a 42, he was 42 points, and he snuck in there to make it a quite efficient team because we had 44 points left over. Yeah, second division Europe. 35-year-old Luta down there in the second German division, doing his thing. A lot of clean sheets recently. Alonso with a great fixture. Vezo with a great fixture at home to Borgo. Ben Sheaf, another great fixture. Last time Eggestein played, he scored a hat-trick, I believe. Maybe it was even 4 goals. Let's see. But yeah, we're going to wrap up the video here. Want to start banging out some Sorare content again. My passion for Sorare keeps growing and growing and growing. Here's that game. He got 2 goals and 1 assist the last time he played. So he's made it into our second division Europe team based on that game back in November. Hopefully he's going to come back with the same kind of form. But yeah, I really appreciate you sticking it out till the end of the video. Please a thumbs up if you like the Sorare content on here. If you want to see more, regardless, I'm going to be posting more Sorare content. It's a great game. I also want to make some instructional videos for Sorare for more beginners to talk about Sorare strategy and philosophy and so on. But yeah, please subscribe. I'm also a full-time professional poker player. I stream that on Twitch. I also stream Sorare on Twitch. But yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Much love.